You're listening to Pole Parlour, a fun, inspiring podcast for all those bewitched by pole dance. Each week, your Madam Crimson Minxxx has candid conversation with unique, engaging individuals from within and around the pole dance community. Pole Parlour is passionate about preaching creativity, soulful sensuality, and empowerment through pole dance.
You know how we do.
Welcome everyone to Pole Parlour. This is episode 52, Marion Crampe. I'm your host, Crimson Minxxx. This week on the podcast, we have international pole artist Marion Crampe. On this episode, we talk about how Marion dreamt of being a professional dancer as a child and how she made this a reality despite the skepticism of others, how she works collaboratively as a dancer, model, and muse to create art, the inspiration behind her eye contact experiment at Pole Expo, and she shares her advice on how to be successful and happy as a professional pole traveler. And check out Marion's post-podcast interview on the blog at poleparlour.com, where she shares her favorite photos, music, video, and more. And while you're there, find links to all the Pole Parlour social media, including the private Facebook group, so we can connect and hang out after the show. And now, without further delay, let's bring on Marion.
Let me rock you to sleep.
Welcome, Marion Crampe, to the Pole Parlour podcast. How are you today?
I'm super good. I'm very happy to share with you guys. Yeah, super happy.
We're so happy to have you here with us. Thank you for taking the time all the way from Spain. You're in Spain?
Yeah.
We'll start with the question that I ask everyone, which is, for how long have you been pole dancing, and how did you first discover pole?
I have been pole dancing, now it's going to be close to 10 years. And I discovered pole dancing in Paris because once a friend of mine was like, do you want to come and hang out with me? I'm going to try this class. And I'm like, okay. And I show up to the pole dancing class in Paris. And Lolo Hilsum, which is a very famous French pole dancer, she was actually teaching this first class. So she was my first pole teacher. Yeah.
It was like an intro class?
It was an intro. It was actually nothing like it is now. It was just like everybody was discovering pole dancing. So we didn't really know what it was going on. And it was super fun. But definitely I got completely addicted the first spin, for sure.
And this was what year?
It was, I think it was 2016, at the end of 2016.
2006?
So, like my brain is thinking at the same time, and I was like, wait a minute, it's not 1 year ago.
Yeah, 2006, that's early on. So, I mean, the fact that you even came across a pole studio, I can't imagine that there were more than one or two, even in Paris at that time, right?
It was not even a pole studio. It was in like a club. And they were putting poles up, and it was not even like any brand of pole that were available at that time. I think in France it was the beginning. It was no studio, or maybe one. But I remember it was very like the very beginning in France, for sure.
Wow, and so your friend just knew about it, knew this underground thing kind of happening, and...
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Because she was a bit like in the nightclub scene, and she knew about it. And so she brought me, and actually I kept going, and I met her not a long time ago, and she was like, oh my God, how I could believe that it would change your entire life.
Right?
This class.
It's funny how things happen. Were you...
I think pole dancing is amazing for that. It changed so many lives. The first class, it's like,
it really does. You can't say that about, like, you know, a step aerobics class or even...
Oh, yeah, or soccer. Like, people watch soccer, but they don't change their life.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, we've definitely have a lot of people to testify to that.
Completely.
Yeah. And so were you dancing before? What were you up to before that time?
I've been always very passionate about dancing, and my mom was also dancing. But I was like, I'm gonna be honest, like that's what I say every time because people say, "Oh, you've been a ballet dancer," and I did ballet classes and gymnastic, but I was really not good. Even my mom the other day, she was talking with I don't remember who, and in a show in France with Manuela Carnero, my friend, and she was telling Manuela, you know, Marion, she really want to dance, but she was not good at all. Like, so I just was driving her to the dance class, but I was just like, oh my God, this petite, she should do something else. But I was like, super keep on going. And I think this is something maybe that made one of my strengths is to believe and to work so hard, and no matter what, I would do it. So yeah, and I remember always writing to my parents, "You don't believe me, but I will be a dancer, and I will do it. I will make it happen." And my parents were like very supportive. Even they thought I was like not made for that. So today they're like kind of between crying because they didn't really, and very happy because they were like, "We are happy you didn't listen to us and you realized your dream."
Yeah, it's funny that it doesn't come naturally to everyone, that it is sometimes just the work and perseverance that puts you at the top, right?
Mm-hmm. Completely.
So were you like going to school for dance at this point?
No. I was like, I was like always dancing in my younger age, and then I graduated school. So in France is a bit different than in the United States. But I graduate my, I think college 2 years in advance.
Oh, wow.
So then I went directly to university and I study sports. So even in this, I was not like the best at sport, but I was really passionate about movement. And I studied, I graduate for being a teacher for disabled people.
Oh, wow.
So it was very interesting, but still I was very young and I felt like I missed some maturity and some experience. So I went into like fitness side after my university, and I graduate the like teacher to teach fitness in all the gyms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I work a little bit like this, and I keep on dancing, but it was always like a second
like a
thing.
Hobby. Almost.
Like a hobby, but even I was like taking part of shows, and it was a hobby that was taking half of my time, for sure.
A very passionate hobby, but nothing you were getting paid for or anything like that, really.
No. And then, yeah, I discovered pole dancing, and things completely changed.
What kind of dance were you doing, by the way?
I did some ballet, but I think... you need to, if you want to go really like deep into ballet, you have to have some body types and abilities. And probably at that time, the teacher were thinking I was not made for that. So I went into something allowed more freedom, like jazz. And I discovered the street jazz and hip hop and raga. So I was trying a bit everything. I was really like, just moving was just my passion. And I remember to this class in Toulouse, in the south of France. It was a massive studio with a bunch of amazing teachers, and I was just going, and no matter what people were telling me, I was like, I'm going to dance, that's for sure.
No, I feel like you have a lot of people eating their words now, so I'm sure people see you now and are like,
Yeah, like my teacher at the fitness center, when I was training for the examen, they're like, nowadays they're like, how the little bird Marion can now do what she does, because like they remember me when I couldn't do a pull up, and now,
wow.
Well, yeah, it was really difficult, and yeah, they're like really amazed by where I arrived, and I keep on going.
Yeah, that's so inspiring. What did that journey look like? So how did you get from where you were to where you are now?
So definitely, many people ask me often, even like yesterday, somebody asked me, since how long you've been practicing to get to this level? And I always think, because most of all in pole dancing now, when we see all those girls and boys coming and in 6 months they became world champion. I do believe that it's not really how many years, but more how many hours.
Okay.
That's because
interesting.
sometimes you can train for many years, but if you don't train intense or enough discipline, you can be just okay for 20 years.
Yeah.
And if it depends the intensity and the dedication you put in your training, in a year, some people, they just rock the world.
Yeah.
So I think it's a matter of years for sure, because you get experience and like most of all, like for example, to go on stage and all those things. But also I think it's an amount of hours, and definitely it's a lot of hours.
Yeah, you started kind of training full time, it sounds like, once you got
I trained because I didn't have the abilities that maybe some of my colleagues had. So I have to work double, or I don't say like they work less, but for me it was like, for me to get more strength, it asked me so much. Definitely nowadays I can say probably I was more gifted to be a flexible one. But without like work, like any virtuose will never master his discipline if he doesn't train. So for sure, like I just come back from training now. I just finished my training and before this interview. So I love training. I'm just so passionate. I was talking to my friend, maybe you know him, Josh Taylor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not so personally. I just stalk him online, but yes, I know who he is.
Yeah, he's amazing. And he's right now in Australia, and we were talking, and he's like, "What are you gonna do today, my dear?" And I'm just like, "I'm gonna train." He's like, "Oh, surprising!" I'm so addicted. I love training. It's just make me, and even people say, "Marion, since when you didn't went to holidays and do nothing?" I'm like, "Yeah, but doing nothing doesn't really make me happy." Like if I can go to holidays, but I still want to move my body. And actually I love training. Is my job for sure, because this is also what we are working for and paid for, to train and to create. But it's first of all my passion.
What's your training look like? I'm assuming it's not on the pole every day. Maybe I'm wrong, but it seems like you put a lot of time into contortion and some other things. So
yes, but also because I married an amazing man, and he's passionate of sport too, but it's like more like cycling and running.
Mm-hmm. He does like triathlons and things. Yeah,
he does triathlon, and since like he trained for the Ironman last year, I started to swim with him, and I became completely addicted to swimming. Wow. So now I swim more than him.
Oh my goodness. And they say swimming is really good for your body because it's not so high impact, right?
It's actually, I love running, but running is sometimes can be a bit like traumatizing for the body. Mm-hmm. But swimming is like something, and what I like about swimming is also like you have to connect because you don't want to mix up with the water. So it's kind of like you have to not switch off, but it's a kind of meditation.
Yeah, I get that.
You connect and you have to be focused on swimming. So your thoughts are a bit like further, and you can like for a moment make a little head space while swimming. So I really like it. And also it's true like for my body because of I like to do contortion and stuff like that. So it's a nice release for my back.
And it has that fluid motion that kind of translates to dance. So
completely. And it's actually very like now I start to be more comfortable since I swim pretty often since a year, and I start to feel like even the touch, and when I touch the water and everything, like I have some like feelings that is very interesting. Actually, I think I would love to swim once. I know you can have those headphones in the water.
Yeah.
I think I've always been passionate about synchronized swimming.
Yeah.
And definitely, I know it's a very hard sport, but I'm sure the feeling and and the sensation you have in the water can be pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You seen those like underwater photo shoots on Pole? Have you seen those?
Yeah.
Like,
But I'm more like this is more static. I'm more into the motion into the water. And I watch a lot of documentary, and I also, because my husband, on the top of everything he does, he also does free diving. And
like in the ocean?
yes.
Wow.
And so I follow some free diver, because some of the free diver, they're actually like also like performer, and those girls, they can be like kind of professional mermaid or even dancing underwater. So it's not just taking a pose picture.
Yeah,
it's a real big deal underwater.
Yeah, I guess it's like the photo shoots, they're not actually dancing on the poles, they're posing, but
it's more posing and
one step in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could take it a step further and see how like the pole could integrate underwater.
Maybe.
You never know. Hey, we're always looking for something new in pole, right? So.
And even more, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm in the path now where, yes, pole is definitely the seed of everything. Most of it for my personal case in my life, but I like to see outside of the box, and definitely I'm in a journey now where I look really outside of the pole box, and that's pretty interesting. So I like to do things with no pole involved.
Yeah, and I've noticed that. I think that's why you stand out, because I think of anyone I can think of off the top of my head, you really embody the title of pole artist, and you take that artistry to the next level. And
thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. And you do a lot of projects with people. You have so many videos and performance art and photo shoots. You do modeling as well, but I see it less of like you being just someone put into the production and more of like an artistic collaboration.
Oh yeah, completely. I think sometimes when the photographers start to say, okay, we work with you, and they're like, oh, because my brain just don't stop, and they're like, okay, just calm down, because I just love it, and I think the photography is very interesting. I don't know anything about cameras and stuff, but what I love, it's when I see what people can do and capture, and what the body can also gives, and the brain. I really love to mix like all the arts together. And for sure, what is very interesting for me, I study a lot the people who are gonna work with, to really like not to respect what they like and what they are, and mix with what I have. And that's why sometimes right now I think about this session I did with a friend of mine that I met in Las Vegas, and he's very passionate about landscape. And I was like, okay, so let's create something where I'm just a detail of this landscape, and I'm not the main focus. I don't know if you noticed this picture where I'm bending in the middle of many bunnies.
Yes.
So this is about what is more about the details, and not being the main focus of the photography. What is more important is the whole landscape. And it was very interesting because we also have like brainstorming before we go in the photo shoot. It's very, very interesting. Yeah. And I really like it. I work with amazing people, and it's absolutely delicious.
Yeah, it's different than doing, a portraiture photo shoot versus doing an artistic collaboration with the medium of photography. How do you find people to work with, or do people reach out to you? Or?
Well, yeah, actually, it's like a lot of things happening. I don't know how I can call that it, because I do not believe in coincidence. So I think things has meant to happen, and most of the time I don't search for people. It just happened. Okay. Like, for instance, the last photo shoot I did was in my hometown now in Girona, and like Malena, she's from Argentina, and she's like, I'm coming in Europe. Do you want to shoot again? Because we already did a shoot in Argentina. And I'm like, okay. And, I'm traveling a lot. And I'm like, when are you coming? And she just told me, oh, I'm coming that day. And I'm like, okay, perfect. I'm home. And the magic things is like that the mom of my husband work in the city hall. So she organized everything she can to have the access to the theater for a few hours. Yeah, so we were like the whole theater with all the technicians just for us for a whole morning. And this is very like priceless. And the picture are pretty incredible. But most of all, because this theater is so traditional and so like so magic. Yeah, it's very, very beautiful. Very beautiful. So I just wrote what I have. And obviously Malena sublimed the things with her capture.
They're not, the photographs aren't, have you posted them yet? Are they public yet?
Maybe decide the first, there is one with myself in an eagle. And it's like very like beautiful pink and red and gold theater. You will find on my page. Sure.
Okay, I'll have to go back and look. I'll put a link to that in the show notes so people can see, because that sounds fantastic. So it's you respect these people that you work with, like you look into what they offer and bring out the best of what they can offer. This all kind of like ties in. I feel like you have a good way of connecting with people. And it's funny that you just even said you do that with the artists that you collaborate with, that you connect with them on a deeper level. You know what they bring to the table and you can bring out their best.
Mm-hmm. I think it's important, and honestly, I don't feel like it's something special, because I do believe it should be this way with everyone.
Yeah.
But I know like we all have different beliefs and different culture. So it's important too. But I think this is something that maybe all of us travelers, traveling bring you this. It brings you to open your mind and to understand that the world, even if we are all brother and sister, we all grew up with different education, different culture, and something that I'm going to say in Spain that going to make people laugh, maybe going to make people very uncomfortable in Asia. Mm-hmm. And so by traveling all the time, you have to always, first of all, I never speak my own language, which is French. I think I even sometimes forget how to speak French, as my mom said. My mom sometimes is like, Marion, this is not French anymore. So the thing is, my brain is constantly switching. Like last week I was in Venezuela, so I was speaking Spanish all the time. So you always like thinking and adapting to people culture, to people like tradition. And it's pretty like a big job, but it's very, very, very interesting and evolving for sure.
How often are you traveling?
So the funny fact is that this year I really was like, okay, this year I'm going to slow down because I want to have a baby. And actually it's the year I think I'm going to travel the most I ever done.
Wow.
So, I was telling Josh this morning, because he's like, okay, so what is your plan? And I'm just like, Josh, I just love traveling. It's just amazing.
What were you doing in Venezuela?
So I've been invited in Venezuela by the federation there. And I was like invited for the championship of Venezuela. Obviously, maybe that the situation right now is not very easy and secure. Mm-hmm. So many people were completely like telling me to not go, even people from Venezuela. But I don't know, like most of the time when I'm travel, I feel this, I don't know, like sense that tell me go or not go. And most of the time it has been very like right. And with Venezuela, I was like, I think you can go, you're going to be safe. So I went, obviously, with security. I didn't bring computer or any stuff that can, like jewelry, because you still have to be careful. And they really took care of me like amazingly, like very secure. And they organize also an amazing trip in the jungle where I connect to the fullest with the beauty of Venezuela. And it's actually an amazing country with amazing people. Unfortunately, as in many countries, politics and other trouble and society kind of like ripped all those things. But I hope they're going to be fine soon.
Yeah. I mean, what an incredible opportunity, though, to be able to even experience that and see a country that may have one kind of connotation in the world where you see like the beautiful and the peace in it. By I know that you're with like a shaman and got to see a lot of nature and stuff. So, I mean, that's a lot of, most people won't have that opportunity. So you
completely, you know, I think that is the amazing things about personally my journey. I think it's kind of the same for all the other travelers, pole dancer. But I first of all, when I manage my own career, so I don't have any
You don't
agent.
have a manager? Wow.
So, but because I like to talk to people, and I think it would be hard for me to find somebody that can think like, because my brain is pretty like crazy. so to find the one that maybe my husband could do it, but he has another job because we are kind of the same weirdo. But you know what I like about it is like, I always like to go with the people. Most of the time I ask to be host in their house if they can, because not because in a financial perspective, but more because I like to experience their life and to meet the people and to spend more time with them. And it's true that the chance that we have is when you go directly to the people. It's not like you are a tourist and you just say, okay, where I can go to discover the country. Being with the people from there, with locals, you always go right to the point where is the cool things to see and the nice restaurant to eat or the experience to have. Like I remember when I went to Kiev once, it was during the very hard time for Ukraine, and Alex, my friend, invited me to come. And I went there, and because he's from there, he made me experience what is the situation, what is the life in his country at that moment. And I think it's so unique, and I keep memories forever that probably most of the human will never experiment. And it's also nice to see that the reality that you have in your own country and the comforts that you have, it is not the same reality for everyone. And but they still keep going and they kind of not complain, and because it's their life, you know?
Yeah, and it seems to have made you, not that you weren't this before, but it helped bring out more empathy for people in general and being able to deal with people different from you and like seeing people.
Yeah, definitely. And it also make you, you know what, something that I really understand, and for sure it's a hard thing to think, but you cannot make people think like you, because sometimes people say, oh, I don't know why people don't like me or criticize this or whatever. It's because we are so different. For sure, by countries, it's huge, but even the person that lives next to you, she grew up with a different life, and so they cannot think like you. So obviously something that's going to make you smile, going to make her cry.
Yeah.
And you cannot say anything about this. That's the way it is, because we are unique. You know, I was talking to a very famous pole dancer also this morning, and she's like, oh, I thought I create something new today. And I told her something, I think it's the truth. Nothing is really new, but nothing is really, and also everything is new at the same time, because we are all so unique. So the way you're going to do it, the way you're going to, for sure is unique, but for sure it's not new, because since people can move, people create it. So it's just a variation of a variation of a, so I think nobody on.
Yeah, everything's derivative of something, and everyone, especially with movement, there's just no way that, you know, thousands of years ago, someone didn't experiment with some type of movement on some type of pole object that did some type of thing.
Yeah, completely. And I think it's very important to keep that in mind. And for sure, what I always try to think when maybe someone gonna disagree with my point of view is that it's okay, because the movie that I see right now when I'm talking to you, if somebody watch us, we'll have a different movie of it, because they have a different perception of you now, of me. So I try sometimes to get out of my head and to think, if I was in the head of somebody else and I was watching the same movie and I was like, why did she saw this person like this? Because I don't see this person the same way. And I think it's pretty, it helps.
Yeah. And I want to talk about kind of along the same train of thought here is you do this exercise, and you did this at Pole Expo last year or 2 years ago. I can't remember.
No, last year.
Last year. When why don't you tell us about it? We've talked about it on the podcast before, actually, but I want to hear you explain it.
So the thing that happened is that I love silence and like meditation for sure. And meeting David, my husband, on Tinder, by the way. So
when I first heard that, I was like, Lord, there's still hope for me. I cannot believe you met your husband on Tinder. I thought it was a little frivolous to bring up, so I wasn't going to say it, but I'm glad that you did.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Because thanks, Tinder, if you hear me.
That's so cool.
So with David, we often stay in silence and we look at each other. And then, it's true that during my workshops, I feel, for me, pole dancing is something that I use it could be anything. And I'm glad it's pole dancing because I really love it. But it could be anything. And it's more to bring me to another journey, which is connecting with people. And I was like, okay, we share a lot, but what about sharing just an eye contact? So I had this idea, and obviously Marina Abramovic, this very amazing artist, did an experience in MoMA where she sits for a long, long time. And obviously when everybody knows about when her ex-husband sit in front of her. So I heard about this, and I tried to keep on doing some research, and I found out this group called the Liberators, and they actually organize gigantic eye contact. So people, maybe I think 2 years ago was in the 15th of October, everybody in the world at the same time stop and sit on the street and share an eye contact with strangers. There is a lot of video of this. I could share some link after.
Yeah,
and
I'll put them in the show notes.
Yeah, and so I decided to contact them and to say, look, I just had this idea, and I searched and I found out you guys. And so we have the same idea. And they actually were super amazing, and they helped me to build my own event. And I contact Fonia, and I was like searching where I can do this pole eye contact. And I was like, the best place where everybody is Pole Expo. So I contact Fonia and I say, Fonia, I have an idea. And she's always like, oh, why you come with Marion? Because she knows I'm always like, my brain is. And I say, I want to organize this. And I explain, I did a little like file where I explain with the videos. And she's like, okay, that was not expected. I think it's pretty cool. And for sure, some of the people will think you completely a weirdo, but it's okay because they already know. So we're going to try it. So she found a space for me, and she allowed me to do my first eye contact for the pole community. And so the Liberator, they helped me because they have a kind of like little way to do it because of the rise. If you sit down by yourself, people completely look at you like, what is going on in her head? So you have to create a little group of people that already know that's going to happen. And obviously I contact some of my very good friends in the community, like as probably like, you know, like Sergia and Phoenix and Steven, and they all obviously were super empathic and super happy to help me. And it just happened. So last year at Pole Expo, and the most powerful things is that the first person who came to me was and shared an eye contact with me was Jason. And we don't have any records of this because I think everybody was so in the moment that I think nobody captured anything about this moment, which is
Just
actually I like it.
Yeah.
I like it because it keeps the magic of that very special moment. And then after everybody, I think you saw the video that Marco Mendes.
Yes, that was nice.
Like,
yeah.
It's an amazing record of this beautiful moment, and yeah, I'm super glad we did it.
Yeah, so you basically, it was just on the floor, and it was just people stopping, sitting down, and just not speaking, just looking into each other's eyes.
Yeah, actually, people could speak, because if you see some people like were speaking, and I have this funny fact. Josh sit in front of Kenneth, and I remember Josh told me. Kenneth was asking, do we have to put a chrono? Because he was sharing a minute eye contact, but you can share whatever, because he's very very doctor, you know.
What are the rules? I want all the rules.
He wanted the rules. He was like, can we talk? And Josh was like, can you just shut up and look at me?
It's not what this is about. Yeah, people were like crying, people were laughing, people were just kind of like dumbfounded, everything.
Yeah, it was very like, because, you know, actually I discovered, because I also did another project on the side of this, that during 6 months I capture after my workshops few seconds of every kind of students that want to share an eye contact with me. And I did a video of all those gaze that I share with students from all the country I visit during those 6 months. And it's actually interesting to see the different reactions. Some people are very uncomfortable. Some people like laugh. Some people just say like, stop it, I cannot, or cannot really fix you. It's very, very interesting to see all the reaction in something pretty simple, that to watch, to look at each other.
Yeah,
but it's actually very, very demanding for a lot of people.
Oh, yeah. To have human connection, especially in a time when we're all attached to phones and we're used to kind of communicating through a screen, to have that interaction. What is like the ultimate goal of this project?
There is no ultimate goal. And I'm going to, when you just mentioned this about screen and everything, actually, it's something like this. Everybody in the world can hear it. I'm sure they know, because now it's pretty like going around. But for example, in my workshops, a phone are not allowed. Not because I don't want people to film or record anything, because I put everything on internet. So there is no big secret.
Yeah.
I post a lot on Facebook and everything. But more because I include myself, we are so addicted to this guy. Mm-hmm. And I think I want to try to make people just for an hour and a half, just to be humans. And most of the time, it's interesting, but I even have some emails afterwards that come. People at the first, they would be like super upset at me, or like, why? Because not upset, but you know, like them. It's like right now, it's like we cannot survive with a phone. And I have even sometimes people tell me, no, that's not possible. I cannot survive without my phone. And I'm like, do you listen what you're saying right now? And mostly because we are not the generation millennium. I think like this generation coming now with the kids, this is really crazy. Yeah. But us, we are born without phone. Mm-hmm. So we did survive before without a phone. So, and also I always say to them, the best memory you have is your brain. And we now, because we have a phone, we don't use it as much as we used to do. And it happens once I say that, and one girl filmed me like sneaky fish, you know, and filming the whole class and whatever. And I saw her and I say, you know, it's not very respectful, most of all for the moment. And actually we went to the swimming pool and her phone dropped in the pool.
No.
And then she has to ask everybody about notes and like to share, because her brain was not working, because she was more focused on how she could feel in a sneaky way, you know. So, and also what I want to say about that is like, I think workshops for me and pole dancing, when I teach workshops or when I perform, it is not really about the tricks or how much like bendy you get. Yeah, for sure it's important, because people are really like drive by this. But I think it's more about experience. And for me, it included anything. If I go to my hairdresser, she can be the best hairdresser in the world, but if I don't have a nice experience, I will never go back. And not only because my color will be nice, because she's a nice girl and maybe we exchange some nice words. So it's all about experience. And I think it's important. And for me, the most important is when students afterwards, they tell me, now I got it. Now I know what do you mean about just being as humans. And I think tricks one day, we will not be able to do it anymore. But experience you had, it's something that you're going to keep forever.
It's true.
So this is my little politics, my little rule.
I didn't know you did that during your workshops. I'm so happy to hear that. I think, we definitely advocate filming yourself for, when you're training by yourself, when you're trying to,
I do all the time.
Yeah, you have to do it in those instances. It makes sense. But yeah, I see so many people lose the experience of what they just paid a lot of money for, whether it be a workshop or a concert or something like that, where it's like you're not even present. You're at a concert or you're at this filming. Just be there.
It's exactly okay. So this idea went even more powerful in me when I went to see one of my favorite singers, Chad Faker, in Paris, and he was playing, and the whole theater was filming him. And in the middle of a song, he's like, "Okay, guys," he stopped singing, and he was like, "Wait a minute, what the hell is this? You paid a lot. Some of you travel from another side of the world to come to this show. And you watch me through your screen. What the hell? Stay home and watch me on YouTube, And he asked for the next song, please, can everyone put the phone down? And if you see somebody filming, you are allowed to smash the phone on the floor. And for one song, people respect. But I can tell you, he stopped singing and everybody I was like, oh my God. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, because it's not like you said, it's not like you're not going to post everything from the workshop online after for people to reference. It's not like, I'm not going to be able to learn afterwards. And it's not like, you can't check out this guy's on Spotify after. Like, you can still have that reference after, but live it while you're in it. Good for you.
And also, I think because, even that's what I think. It's when you experience with your body, most of all for pole dancing, I do want to believe that your body print and create memories of sensation, and instead of you so drive by filming yourself and obviously it's a different experience. It's just different. Some classes I know for example, if somebody make a Rainbow Marchenko and she wants to capture, I'm like, okay, just do it, because they just the moment of their life, know. So push. I'm not that strict, but I would love to move to people just to understand that definitely there is something different, and especially in the way I'm teaching, there is something about connection. So that's why.
Yeah, that comes across really powerfully. What makes you feel successful as a pole artist?
As a performer or as a teacher?
I would say both.
I don't know, because something is sure. I'm so glad, maybe many of the people that my generation of pole dancer, I'm so glad I came out when I came out because there is something now when I watch all these amazing athletes, I will never be able to be there is so many tricks I cannot do, so many things. But I think the old pole dancer, if I can say that, the one of the first generations, we create something beyond pole dancing. I mean, beyond just the practice. Many of those people are very became icon.
Who were your contemporaries? Who were some of these people that you're referencing, just so we can kind of wrap our brains around what was going on back then? I
think people, for example, Michelle Stanek, Felix Kane, Natasha.
Okay.
There is a lot of them, but those people, I think people watch them not only because of their pole dancing, but they also inspire them in their everyday life. And we create something with the people that definitely it's beyond being just like a technical pole dancer. And this is what it is amazing. And like, I feel like we connected to with people, and we create like, maybe for sure there is pole dancer more amazing than us nowadays. They can do even more crazy thing. But the things that we created, it's very unique, and everybody has his own personality and his own way to be and to connect with people, that it's so strong that for the new people it's really hard to get in this box, because this first like seed of the family is very strong and very connected. We are all like, I think I met the best people of my life. And yeah, if I have something not going good or not or whatever, I call probably first somebody like Shimi or Natasha before I call my own family.
Yeah. It's, you guys were, when you don't have a reference point, I think that's when the magic happens. And it sounds like that's what you experienced, because you didn't necessarily have a lot of, or you didn't even have Instagram back in 2006,
No.
but you didn't have anything to reference. So you were creating that magic from like a very authentic, honest place, and a lot of experimentation. I think it's hard when you're first starting off, like you were saying, you can become very, champion, like become a champion in a year. But I think it takes longer than that to really develop a personal style and something that you're known for and recognizable for.
First, but still, for example, in a personal level, I still have had a reference, because when I start to do my pole journey in Paris, this amazing woman that absolutely changed my life. So her name, as she's known in France, is Liana, but she has like a lot of different facets. But Liana, I would say she's been my guide on the pole and also in the spiritual level. And she's from Australia. She's not very like famous pole dancer, but she's one of the first pioneer pole dancer probably in the world. And that day in Paris, when she came to me and she took me under her wings and definitely teach me everything she knew about pole and beyond. And yes, I think if I have to say that my reference was her, and obviously our amazing Felix Kane that I saw for the first time with her red, beautiful hair. And I was like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah. Everyone, yeah. She's impacted and so many people. But yeah, that's so, I don't know who this woman is that you're referencing, but that's amazing. Yeah, there's always going to be someone that inspires us and pushes us and helps kind of like raise us up. And I guess it's how you add your own influence to it that makes you known for your own specific.
I think so, yeah. But that's what that's why, you know, when sometimes people say they want to be like pole star or whatever, and so they start for like getting titles, and I said, honestly, if you look a bit to us, many of us, we have maybe one title or maybe not at all, but it doesn't matter, because it's not, at the end, it's not important. And even personally, when they introduce me in shows and competition, I don't really like they say, so in 2012, blah, 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 because it's not really matter. It's beyond this. I prefer, for example, my bio that I have on my website and a bit everywhere. I didn't wrote it. I asked a friend of mine, which is the one that you know very well, Bendy Kate.
Yeah, love Bendy.
So she's a very good friend of mine, and I just asked Bendy if she could write about me. Obviously, I was a bit scared because she's always make joke about me. And but she wrote a very. I knew she will make an amazing job, and she wrote an amazing like review of what I represent for her and for like most of the people in the community, and I'm very, very blessed for that. So I think it's difficult to, and I prefer people to know about what she shared in this biography than maybe my title, because I think it's more.
It's like at the end.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool. Yeah, that's a good idea. Have someone else write your bio so they can have a more outside perspective.
Like, exactly. That was exactly the things, and I did back to her. We exchange the thing.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Find someone to trade that off with. Nice. And so one question that I had sourced from the Facebook group that someone wanted to ask you is if you had any advice for people who were interested in kind of living this traveler life like you've managed to live specifically
Okay, so the first things that people should know is it's an amazing life, but it depends also how you manage it. For sure, can be amazing and also super helpful situation and life if you don't like take it the right way. First of all, the thing is difficult. It's a very lonely life. Even you meet a lot of people, because like all the traveling process and everything is not always easy. Most of the plane and luggage and things like that, most of the time it go wrong. Like I was just talking with Anastasia 2 days ago that she got stolen, like her luggage got stolen and lost and whatever. But for us, it's like we're like, whatever, like always, it always happen. But it can be difficult sometimes. So this is one thing. I didn't have home for almost 6 years. And this is also another point. So you cannot collect your little personal thingy. I was living in 2 suitcases. One I was traveling with, and one I was living in a friend's house. So it can be also, you learn how to live with small. This is also one thing. And just to make it clear for everybody, I don't have any business flight or like sometime I get upgraded because it's my lucky day, but because we have like those how you say, the cards where you can have like, collect a point. But the thing is, because I get like all the cards, so points are all over, so I never been more than the silver category. So I never really like have like this standard whatever. I'm just traveling like normal traveler. But my secret for my case is like I make myself home anywhere. So sometimes I'm going to be in a country and I'm like, okay, I want to go home. And people are like, where? Marion, is not your home. You're staying in a bungalow or whatever. But I put myself, like even someone invite me in their house and they say, okay, make yourself home. Trust me, I'm not going to ask twice to cook myself a egg or to make a tea. I just do it.
Yeah. Cool.
Because if I keep asking, like, can I? First, it's pretty annoying for the person. And because I'm here around like a little mousy. And also because it's this way, I think I feel myself never disconnected from home, because home is everywhere.
Oh, it's like a mindset.
I just feel like really, I don't feel like, even when for example, my fresh memory is Venezuela. I was with the very beautiful Elimaira and her family. She has 3 boys. They are like 12, 14, and 15, and her husband. And they were my family for a week. And I really like, when I'm with them, I'm just like, okay, guys, you adopted me for a week, so we're going to be a family. So I had like fight with the boys, and it was just a family time, I just sometimes in some families they say, can you take care of the baby or the doggy or whatever, and I just do it like part of the family.
Oh my gosh! So you approach traveling it with a certain mindset, and you make it work for you. It doesn't say. I mean, of course, it's going to be lonely, and you're going to miss your loved ones and things like that. But
actually, you know, the thing is, maybe about traveling, you know, for sure I miss David because when I'm far. But when you travel, it's not. I think it's harder maybe for the one that stay home, because me, I'm overstimulated. Yeah, I'm visiting people. I'm meeting new people. So my life is like a roller coaster. So I don't have really much time to sit down and be sad.
Yeah.
And obviously we miss each other, but luckily also social media are amazing for that, to keep each other connected. So we have a bunch of way to connect. So, and he's very supportive, and so this way I never feel like it's a heavy thing, because no matter where I am and for how many days I am away from home, I feel so connected. So it's not hard.
Yeah, you have I love your mental attitude about things and your viewpoint on things, because we've said this a lot on the podcast. You know, two people can have the same experience and have two completely different reactions and two completely different resulting like thoughts about things. And if you're traveling, it sounds like you figured out how to make it work for you. And
completely,
it may just not be for everyone too. So,
oh no, for sure. You know, I talk to so many people, and they're like, honestly, your life look cool, but I wouldn't like to have it. Like, I like my little doggy, and I like to have my own coffee machine.
Yep.
Yeah, to have my own bathroom. Those things for me, I'm just like, whatever. I can go anywhere, and it's okay. The only things I know now is holidays. Talking last holidays we did with David, we decided to go. I don't know why we had this idea, to Myanmar.
Oh,
and
cool.
And backpacking. But then after a few days, I realized that backpacking is actually my whole entire life.
So you're like, just another day.
So I'm like, maybe for holidays, I should figure it out to reverse and to just don't move.
Yeah, go to the beach somewhere.
That's what I have in mind now. And no backpacking. Just put my clothes in the closet and
yeah, because he's a triathlon, so athlete, so he's always kind of working his way around from point A to point B too. So yes, I think sitting still may be actually a big challenge for you guys, but also,
well, we never really do it because we like to exercise. But the nice things about sharing life with somebody that actually likes to move is that, for instance, I don't know, on a Sunday morning like yesterday, we're having a coffee and we're like, what are we doing? Let's go for a run. So we go for a run together, and it's pretty nice to share those things, because during running we talk and we share thoughts, or we just share silence. Yep. And it's actually nice to have somebody that understands this, and because like for many people, for sure, I'm a freak, but when you date another freak, then you feel completely normal.
Yeah, surround yourself by people who bring out the best in you and what makes you most happy. So that's a very thoughtful key to a happy life, I think. Mm-hmm. I would love to jump into the second part of this interview with the standard questions that I ask everyone. And this should be interesting. Who is Marion Crampe's pole crush? Also, disclaimer to listeners: Marion didn't want to see any of the questions beforehand, so she's doing excellent. This is all off the cuff. Usually, I'll send the questions to everyone, but she's a renegade.
I like to keep it like raw and super like natural and real. So and real for sure. My ultimate crush, I think it's pretty hard because I have many, for sure. I have people that I admire so much, but for so many reasons. For sure, like the first pole crush ever, as I mentioned before, is Felix, because like everybody like start pole dancing when we were young, and and we didn't know like many, but she was the queen, and she's still a queen, and for sure for many she will stay forever, the one that we all start pole dancing. And yeah, I told her once we were having like a jacuzzi moment and some drinks, and I just say, girl, I'm like, it's pretty crazy amazing that, yeah, you're the reason, and you probably watching your video changed my entire life. And yeah, but she's just like, she's so sweet. And I don't even know if she realized how many lives she changed with her dance.
Every single person brings her up on this podcast. I would say,
yeah,
legitimately, probably 70 to 75% of people mention her at some point. So
for sure,
she should know.
So yeah, it's massive and giant. I will have like probably somebody that I admire a lot for many reasons. It's also Marlo Fiskin. But I also love so many of, like, I love Shimi for everything she is, Natasha,
yes,
Carly. I couldn't even mention everybody. Hanka, and the boys also, Evgeny, Anastasia. I really love everyone. But the funny fact is that on Instagram, for instance, I don't follow a lot of pole dancers.
Yeah, interesting.
Yes, because I really love all of them, and obviously, like, they're my friends, and I really like. They're amazing. But for example, if I have to be inspired and to kind of like make my brain a bit working, I follow a lot of like people who does sculpture, painters, jewelry, musician, obviously dancer, other kind of artists, athletes. Like today, I just started to follow one girl. She does calisthenics. She's absolutely amazing. I just discovered her today. And synchronized swimming. So I have a lot of people that are absolutely not pole dancer. Yeah. And because it fit my mind, because also, Liana, one day she told me, watch the people that nobody is watching.
Oh, I like that.
Mm-hmm. And even in pole dancing, because she said the one famous, everybody watch them and everybody does the same as they're doing. Yeah. But the petite one that does less, but try to with less to create different, those one are interesting. And actually, she's very right, because many times I judge a lot of competition in the world, and I'm gonna tell you the truth. Many times it happens that in the category amateur and semi-pro, I'm completely mind blown by the creativity of people, and many times it happens that I'm more amazed, and like I'm gonna more like take notes about those, because many professional or elite category, they want to get into the requirements of being a pro or elite, so they have to do those moves that we see in everybody, and this way to move to get the point, to be the winner. But the one that cannot do those moves or move that way, they try to find other ways, and those ones are really amazing too, and really inspiring for me.
Yeah, wow, that's good advice, and yeah, I totally agree. Like, see, people, that's in any type of art. You definitely appreciate the artistry of pole, and in art, doing more with less is a thing, and so it can oftentimes be a lot more impressive.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure, and also because I think it's like it opened your minds. For example, one thing is I remember my husband paint also.
What doesn't this man do? What a Renaissance man you have there.
Yeah. And once I remember at the beginning of our journey together, he sent me some picture of his painting, and he said, "Can you tell me what you think about it?" And I was like, I cannot really tell you because I'm not a pro in painting, but I can dance what I feel when I watch it. So we did this exchange where I picked one of the picture and I pick a song and I just interpretate what I feel, because he likes to paint also old people. Okay. So there is like kind of story behind, and so I try to create what this story could be, and it was a very interesting way to explore. Yeah. So I like those kind of things.
That's creative. That's a great creative practice right there. Exercise, like pick a painting and dance to how it makes you feel.
Yep.
Marion, you're Definitely. Good. Okay, so let's go on to the next question that I ask everyone, which is, how would you like to see the pole community evolve over the next 5 years?
Let's see. I think there is definitely place for everybody. Like, no matter how you want to move, just be allowed to do whatever you want. Definitely keep on going with these amazing things we have about respecting each other and connecting to the fullest. For sure, it will be always some little thingies, because this is how to be a human, right? Yeah. And it's part of the journey as a human. But at the end of the day, I do believe that it's an amazing community. And I remember when United Pole Artists 2 years ago at Pole Expo asked, what is pole dancing for you? Most of the answer were community. And I think this is very important, and this community is absolutely amazing. And we have so many examples of this. First, I think the main one is the support for Jason. That was absolutely mind-blowing for many other community, because I think pole dancing was very supportive in this. And also, like, little things happens. Like, I know, for example, if something happened, everybody going to try to move on to find out a solution to help this person. And it's very, very important and very beautiful. I think the community is very important, and I hope we're going to keep this. For sure, there is place for competition, and I think it's good because it allows people to bring another aspect of pole dancing, but definitely like to keep also the source of pole, which is like just the pleasure of moving around this tube that is a pole, and be whatever you want to be, and no matter who you are, no matter what you want to wear or what you think, the music you want to perform, just allow anyone to do whatever they want. And depends the country. You can really feel, obviously, because again, if we come back to the first topic about the culture and about the way we are educated, it changed the way we see things. But just, it's okay. If this way works for you, it's fine. But if it works for me different, it's fine too. Mm-hmm. And obviously, no matter what, people will always be against things. So because it will be always like this, just do whatever you want.
That's true. You can't please them all, And it reminds me of the expression, if you're not offending someone, you're boring everyone. And so try to think of it that way.
Yeah, for sure.
Can't please them all.
So I hope the community will keep growing. And, I feel what is very interesting, there is so many like kind of sports or dance style that they've been fashion and then they go. But I think I'm convinced pole dancing is not a fashion.
Yeah.
It's a fashion that lasts very long.
Yeah, and I agree. I feel like it's here to stay.
Yeah, it's going to stay forever, and I hope forever and ever and ever. And more people will join the community, and we can share. And I hope to pole dance until I cannot move anymore.
Yes, I hope that too, and I hope that's for a long time. And so I think, is there anything you wanted to share with the audience that you have coming up? I'm going to put all of your social media in the show notes, but do you have any like travel plans or shows or anything you want to share?
Well, basically people can see everything on my media. I'm going to travel a lot until December to like States, Europe, and Mexico, where I'm gonna join Marlo, Nadia, Steven, and Felipe Mendoza for the one retreat.
Yeah.
Yes. So this, I'm very like excited for this. But there is also the Pole Camp in Barcelona happening in August, and the Pole Camp in Switzerland happening in November. And I have some little surprise from people in some country, but I don't know yet, so I cannot tell anything. But I have some surprise for some people that I cannot miss some place. So I just bring myself without asking anyone. Yes.
Good for you.
This is something also happening, and obviously Pole Expo, I will be there. And yeah, so many also like collaborations coming with photographers around the world. And you're welcome if anyone is excited and have a good project. I'm always up for it. And like keep on doing workshops. And this weekend I'm going to do something pretty interesting. I'm gonna go to Monte Carlo for the festival. The dance festival, and I got invited by the Ballet of Monte Carlo.
Oh wow!
So I'm very, very happy to dance there this coming weekend.
Cool.
And what else? Pretty soon also something will show up on America Got Talent because I had an experience there. Yep. And so that's mine come pretty soon, like on internet. So this is also something. And what else? I don't know. Maybe yeah, super busy and like being in love with my husband and
after traveling to baby.
Exactly, and connecting with my friends. I can wait to see. I miss all of them. And I can wait to go to places and to meet them as soon as possible.
Oh, fantastic. You have a lot of stuff happening. So a lot of opportunities to catch you if people want to come take some of your workshops or come see you and just stare in your eyes.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you so much. Before I let you go, can you share an inspiring quote or message or story with us just to sign off with?
Yes. It's actually something that I was talking with Josh this morning. And, because he asked me, okay, so what are you up for the future? What do you would love to do? And I told him, you know what? I'm just happy. I just love where I am. It's balance. I have time for myself. I have time for others. And yeah, I'm just happy. So, yes, I train a lot and I always go here and there, but it makes me happy. So, and Josh say, so if it makes you happy, just do it. Voila. So if something makes you happy, it makes you feel alive, you just gotta do it. Like, don't hear people like that tell you, oh, you should rest, or you should that, or you should do. Just do it. Just make the things, because I do believe, and I'm convinced, the first person that can make you happy is yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad. I'm so glad to be an outlier. I'm so glad to not be like normal for many people, because the way I am, I'm happy. And yeah, like we were saying to each other, sometimes I prefer to be by myself, and I actually enjoy the time with myself than being surrounded people that don't really like want to or respect the way I am. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I just do things that makes me happy, and I think people should always. I think it's the key of happiness for yourself, and then for the people around you. Because if you're happy, it works like magic powder.
Spreads. Yeah.
Yes. For some people, it can be. Maybe some people will be annoyed because they don't really know what it is, and then hopefully one day they will find their way to be happy too.
Yeah, that's just a reflection of themselves feel not understanding because they're unhappy, but then you kind of lead by example type thing. So
that's it. That's something maybe I don't know if you know about the fourth agreement.
Yes, by Ruiz.
Exactly.
Ruiz,
so maybe I can remind them to everyone, because I think they're very important. Like, be clean with your words, which is not easy every day as a human, and don't take anything personally. That's what we are just saying. Like, if somebody feel this way towards you, it's not you. It's about himself. And don't feel guilty about anything, which is also not easy sometimes, but because things happen because there is a reason, and do everything you do the best. That's
I'm putting a link to that, but I think it's on my bookshelf over here, but I can't reach it. But I'm putting a link to that book in the show notes as well, because it's really a good read.
For sure. For sure.
Awesome. Marion, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing everything with us and taking the time to chat with us. You're fabulous. We love you.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Pole Parlour podcast. Want more? Visit poleparlour.com for show notes and to link to the Facebook group where you can connect with other Poloholics and continue the conversation. Listen to past episodes and subscribe to new episodes on the website, YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher, or SoundCloud. Lots of love, babes. Thanks for listening.